Welcome, folks, and thank you for joining us today. This is Mainline Executive Coaching, ACT, Mainline Leaders. We are here to help you as leaders and aspiring leaders to become your best, to become the best leaders that you can become through training, through coaching, through consulting, through different ways that, whatever ways that we can possibly do to bring to you the resources that you can then employ in your own leadership development. We're here to help. We're here to help you bring out the very best in what it is that you do and what you want to accomplish. We have today with us a great guest, and we're excited to have her here with us, and I'll be introducing her in just a moment. I'm here with my partner, Rich Burandt, and I am Michael Bailey. We are indeed Mainline Executive Coaching, ACT. ACT means ACT. Yes, ACT, and cultural transformation. It's that combination of great leadership that creates great cultures for people to operate in. And this is the very subject that we are discussing today. We have with us today Christine Burandt, and she is with Zytozyme. She is the HR director for them. Great company. It's a worldwide company. She's a one powerful lady that we brought on today. And she's going to be talking to us about this thing that's going on, the Great Resignation. The Great Resignation. If you haven't heard that yet, this is going to be very exciting because it's got a lot of stuff going on. So, Christine, thank you. Thank you for joining us today. We're so happy and delighted to have you be a part of our discussion today.
Yes.
So, give us a little bit about your background. Give us kind of your me in 30 seconds of what you are about and what's been going on with. Let's start with just that. Then we'll get into the Great Resignation.
Sure. So, yes, I've been with Zytozyme for the last 2 years or so. For manufacturing plant for agriculture, we do plant, animal, and nutrition, or aquatic nutrition. We're based out of South Salt Lake. We manufacture, ship, and produce everything in-house. We've got a head count of close to 100 employees, and we're not special in this recession or the retention that everyone else is going through. We've definitely felt it ourselves.
Okay. So thank you. I appreciate that introduction. All right, we're going to start, Rich, with you. Let's start unpacking this thing called the Great Resignation. And it's complicated. So go slowly and let's just kind of open it up, piece at a time.
Well, Great Resignation. And really, if you start to unpack this, it's not so much the Great Resignation or a mass exodus where everybody's big coordinated, let's walk off the job. Really, it has a lot to do with what's happened over the last couple of years, 2020 and now. And really, it's about dissatisfaction. It's about a misunderstanding of what we actually do as workers in the workplace. You know, let's back up a little bit on this. Prior to 2020, there was, we really didn't have the terms. Everybody was going to be working from home, remote work. Not everybody was working through Zoom, although there was, some doing that. But the thing is, we had a routine. We got up in the mornings, we got dressed, looked our best. We always wanted to look our best to get to work, or, there was things we needed to do to make sure that when we went into the office, we presented well. We got to see those people that we worked with every day. They were actually 3D individuals, not just 2D, virtual workers.
Right.
We got to, talk with people, break room, what happened during breaks and lunches. We got together. We got to, if there was a problem, you could walk across the hallway and, we pick someone's brain. Now you got to get on a calendar, appointment with them for Zoom. The thing is we knew for the most part what we were expected to be, what we were expected to do, and had a better feel of how it was supposed to be done because we were right there with everybody. Now when 2020 hit, COVID, everybody is sent home to work essentially. And this is where a lot of that dissatisfaction started to play. And it's not so much that working from home was the problem. It's like we lost our identity. A lot of companies lost their identity with their workers. And as a result, a lot of workers really felt like, do we truly belong? you know, is there really a culture in place anymore? Does someone really care about what I'm doing? They had all the IT problems with no real IT help because they were all at home on their own servers, on their own laptops, whatever it may be. But it comes down to disengagement and not really feeling welcome. I shouldn't say welcome, but not really feeling a part of a bigger whole anymore. Now, there's still a lot of workers that really like this working at home, but you know, even surveys say at least 50% of the workforce wants to go back. They want to get back in the office, but yet we're all still switching out to going. There's a lot of companies that are really still working remote, and it really boils down, honestly, to leadership. Leaders not truly understanding how to keep these employees engaged.
Okay, thank you. All right, Christine, you're right there in the trenches. You're dealing with it every single day. What's your take on what this is all about and what's happening here?
Yes, I couldn't agree more with you, Rich. Absolutely. There is that disconnect. Absolutely. When they're at home, you know, and they get a little bit more comfortable. I can't tell you how many times I've been in where they're wearing the t-shirt with ketchup stains and pajama pants, and they've gotten a little too comfortable at home. You're right. They went from getting dressed up every morning and shaving everywhere, you know, and just being presentable to getting a little too comfortable at home. And so there is that 50% that's kind of made their bed with it. It has been over a year now for them doing that. So trying to get them back into work mode, if you will, has been difficult. The other half, absolutely, they're ready to come back to work. They're ready to engage and be on the front lines again. You know, it's a very 50-50, and it's a challenge to go after that other 50 that's gotten so comfortable from staying at home. And it's understandable. They're able to have their kids at home. They're having to not pay for childcare. They're not having to put miles on the car, fill up, or sit in traffic. So I understand the appeal, absolutely. But, you know, what kind of culture is that breeding? That goes back into management as well. So for the folks that are coming back to work, they are heavily dependent on those management and leaders to support them and engage with them and invest in that position of their career. And they look to that. So I find that a lot of these are discouraged when management is kind of just beating the drum of work, instead of let's, you know, roll up our sleeves and be part of it together and find a solution. And I thought that has really been, that's been that. Nope.
It seems like there's some different feeds into this whole thing. There are those people who have been working in cultures that they were maybe questioning, do I really want to work here anyway? And so anytime there's a disruption, and I'm a little older here, and I've seen disruptions over the years. There's been massive layoffs in different industries at different times, and you know, people are going all over the place, and that disruption really gives people pause. Do I really want to work in this industry? Do I want to change? Do I want to go back to school? Do I want to maybe go to business for myself? Those kind of disruptions have always been going on. Right. This one was the first time it really went on at a huge level. And so I think one of the things it did was it started showing the weaknesses in certain companies. It also showed the weaknesses in some employees in terms of how dedicated they were to the particular jobs of the organizations that they were working in. So you had, I'd say, some not so great organizations, and now they got great people leaving. On the other hand, you've got some, you know, great organizations, and the people that really didn't like it, they're leaving as well. So it's kind of like this big sorting that takes place. That's what I'm seeing as well. The other part of it is this: I think there is perhaps a level of, saying to the man, you know, I don't have to do it your way. I think that's a real thing that's going on here, and we're starting to find out that maybe that's not necessary for us to come in all the time. And so the sense of idea of flexibility here, it's a difficult one. And I think it's difficult this way because sometimes we think, I want to be able to call it and do it my way. But sometimes that really doesn't work. No. Sometimes you've got to work together as the group. So I'm kind of curious here, Christine, for those people that are just saying, well, I'm going to sound very biased, I know it. They just say, I want to do it my way or the highway. that puts everybody in a difficult situation because you're not running the company.
Right.
And you don't have privy to all the information and all the things that are going on. So what would you want to talk about? Do you want to talk about the people that say, I want to do it my way? Or do you want to talk more about the people that have legitimate gripes about, I just don't like this manager. This person's not very thoughtful and not very cooperative and not very supportive. Which one do you want to address?
Certainly management. I can't how many exit interviews I have had. Employee, the only reason because of their manager. And it seems so avoidable. It's so avoidable. A lot of times it's communication. Maybe it's perspective. The manager thought everything was great when really they weren't quite reading the lines. Maybe they thought their approach was correct. And a lot of times, man, that was a coaching opportunity. We can save this person. And in HR, that's my job. I'm an advocate, not only for the company, but as well for the employees. So to be able to kind of be that bridge and make sure that both parties are happy and healthy and efficient. We have this attitude at work of work hard, play hard. But there's the balance, that work-life balance. And sometimes, we get a little too ahead of ourselves and it's work. And it shouldn't be all play, but it does need to be enjoyable. If you're not having fun, I don't care what the dollar amount is. I don't care what the benefits are. You're not enjoying what you're doing and feeling supported and feeling appreciated, they're going to walk. And that back to the supervisors and managers, maybe a simple attaboy or, hey, I like what you're doing with this, but what if we try that way? Just being a little bit more approachable. Anything could help. And going to your HR representative and asking them for tools and a little bit of coaching of how to situations, I think is so valuable. And you get so into the steps of working every day that you kind of forget that HR representative is a resource for you to go back to and maybe even be in the room to communicate between you and that employee. Everyone's understanding what's being spoken and everyone's on the same page.
That's excellent. I love hearing your HR point of view. I mean, it's really nice. It's very, very refreshing. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. So Rich, talk about it from the point of view of those employees that just maybe want to make the calls. They want to set up the terms of employment. Is there a place that it's legitimate? Is there a place that they can go too far? What is that kind of balance that we're looking for in terms of creating great companies with great cultures and great people, great leaders working together to create great products and services? What's that balance?
It's still, honestly, Michael, there's a poll out, a Gallup poll, and it focuses on organic growth in workplace. And it really comes down to still that culture that they found out that companies have still tried to bring a culture to the workplace where everybody's included. They truly know what the vision is. They truly know what everything is about the company, where we're going as a group, how we're going to succeed. That reduces the turnover by at least 36%. Now, part of the stuff, go into your question here. A lot of it I see and reading about, some of these articles reading about, some of these workers have got home. They're on their own turf. They're on their own time. A lot of them feel like, there's one organization just recently I was reading about that said, you can work from wherever you want as long as you show up to your nearest, facility at least 8 times a year. Okay. That really, what kind of culture is that really bringing to it? Are they allowing them to make their own work time, their own workspace, make their own shots? Here's the thing is when we were going into work prior to 2020, and there's, most people were going in, we had an expectation of what it was supposed to be like. We knew we were supposed to be there at a certain time. We knew that we were being held, we were working with a group of people. We were working with a team, an actual 3D team, maybe in a boardroom around a table versus, 6 or 7 faces on a screen. There was more of an expectation of what we needed to be, who we needed to be, how we needed to get it done. There's a lot of those now that are just simply, if you want me to go back to working in an office, or I have, the expectations now are X and Y, I'm not okay with that. I'm home. I like what I'm doing here. And if this isn't working, I'm going to go find someplace else that will work for me. There really is, we talked about this, is there a lack of resilience for some of them? The skills and talents, that's not the problem. There's skills and talents out there everywhere. We've talked about this how many times? Really, it comes down to heart. It comes down to heart. How much do you want to impact your life? And I think we misunderstand how much work means in people's life. It's fulfilling. It's part of that need to be fulfilled, part of that need to belong to something more than just, who we are as an individual. And I think that's where a lot of that dissatisfaction comes from. But there's also those that are like, yeah, I've got my freedom now and I'm not giving it up. I like the paycheck. I'm not giving that up. And that's probably a very few of the individuals we're talking about. But still, I mean, even studies show that is part of the problem. 4 million people walked off the job, or changed jobs in April alone. 41% of global workers, 30,000 workers that were surveyed, like 41% of those had changed jobs in the last year. And there's an estimate right now that at least 2/3 of all American workers plan on changing their jobs this fall or are at least thinking about it. That's huge. What is that actually costing those organizations?
Oh, it's huge. You're right. It's huge. Christine, when you bring somebody on board, right? I was reading some statistics here that to get somebody really into the groove, they're comfortable, they know what they're doing, they're really competent at what they're doing, it can take 6 to 9 months to do that. Is that about right, or is that figure different from your experience?
No, I couldn't agree with you more. And it's so brought that up, Rich. It's such a great point. My HR team developed a wage analysis, and turnover analysis, and the cost thousands of dollars that are invested right out the gate to give them the proper tools. And so you're already investing that upfront with everything else that go getting them in the door. Have some around, walk off the job within a couple of months. You have to start from the beginning and already in the negative and trying to get what you've already invested in. So it was astounding numbers that we found. We were not expecting.
Yeah, those are really tough calls here. All right, we need to wrap this up here. I am curious as we wrap this up, what is it, Christine, we're going to start with you and then we'll wrap up with Rich. Christine, if you were to give us both a realistic and optimistic point of view about bringing people into your company or any other company, what would you say that the company needs to be doing, and what would you say that individual looking for work needs to be doing? How would we create this chemistry of we want great opportunity to happen for everybody?
Gosh, I go back to a lot of these. My company, we will interview 3, 4, 5 different interviews with different management throughout the facility to make sure it's a right fit for that candidate and a right fit for us. It's speed dating, if you will. You getting to know them and make sure it's a good fit. And if that means putting in a couple extra interviews to make sure it's going to work, it's absolutely worth it. I mean, again, I don't know. I know Rich is just like me. You spend so much time at work. You almost spend more time at the office than you do your own family sometimes. I've clocked in more hours at the office than I have at home before. It's just how it goes. I guess my biggest advice to really invest in that process and make sure that you are 100% invested in that individual and giving them the best opportunity that you can up front. And it's that first impression, right? To make sure that is a foundation set in gold and then move forward and keep up that momentum. Just not, throw them out to the office or the floor and say, look, here you go, and then ignore them. Just, being there without helicopter mom, right? Just being available and being present and making sure that they know that they can come to you and having that open door policy. They are working home or working in the office. You have to make sure you have a pulse check and share that everyone.
Oh, that's good advice. I love the sense of goodwill. I love the sense of mutual respect. I love the sense of we're in it together and that we need to have each other's back to make it really work. I love that. Thank you so much for being with us today, Christine. Thank you so much.
Yes.
All right. And Rich, you got it. Take it home.
All righty. Thank you, Christine, very much. Me and Christine, as she mentioned, we worked together for a long time. So, we understand a lot of these issues. We've gone through a lot of these issues together. And, we see, and I know Christine's very capable of handling and working through a lot of these situations and really understanding what it takes. Once again, everybody, I'm going to give a big shout out. Who are we going to give a shout out today, Michael?
I talked to somebody who is here in the state of Utah, and she knows, if she's watching this, she knows who it is that she is. And I have enormous respect for her. Enormously talented woman, very dynamic, very smart, just a great, great person. And thank you. Thank you for being one of our viewers. And I wish you, who you are, all the best.
All righty. Once again, thank you for joining us on our podcast and all your support. Have a safe weekend. Take care, and we will see you again on Monday. Bye-bye.
All right. All the best, everybody.